けます。
できるだけお付き合いします。
Hey everybody, welcome to another video of Learn Japanese with Anime. We are of course going to be covering another anime line of the day today because, as you just heard a line from an anime, and that's going to be our anime line of the day. So today we have a good one, I think. I might use this one quite often. We are going to learn how to say, I have absolutely no confidence I'll be able to wake up in time tomorrow, so I'll pull an all-nighter. So before we jump into breaking down the Japanese of this sentence, let's take a quick look at our vocabulary list here and add these cool words to our arsenal. So we have 4 words. First one, okiru, which means to wake up, to get up basically. Next up we have jishin, which means basically confidence. After that we have mattaku, which is basically an adverb that means really, truly, completely, entirely. And then lastly we have tsudukeru, which means to continue. Alright, with that we are now equipped to handle this sentence in its pure Japanese form, so let's take a look at it right here. Once again, Okirareru jishin ga mattaku arimasen. Kounattara, Okitsudukemasu. So right from the start here, we're going to have our first vocabulary word make its appearance, the verb okiru, which means to wake up. Here we're going to be conjugating it into the potential form, the rareru form, to mean basically to be able to wake up. We're going to keep this potential form in a plain form with the ru there because we want to use it to modify or describe the noun that follows right after, which is our second vocabulary word, jishin, which means confidence. So Okirareru jishin is basically the confidence to be able to wake up. Next up we have the particle ga here, which might be a little bit confusing because you might be going, hey, doesn't that denote the subject of the sentence? And aren't we talking about myself here? Aren't I performing the action of not having... Well, this is just kind of an elongated form of the ga-aru grammar pattern, which is basically the existential phrasing to say something is there or exists. So jishin ga-aru means to have confidence, or there is confidence there with me. The instance of that grammar pattern here might be a little bit confusing just because before we connect the particle ga to the aru, existential verb aru, there's an adverb between them, and that's mattaku, which is again our third vocabulary word, which means truly, really, completely, entirely. Then we get our aru, but it's also going to be in a negative form, the negative polite form arimasen. So that'll mean is not there, or doesn't exist, or I don't have. And so if we take this whole first sentence here, once again we have okirareru jishin ga mattaku arimasen. That's gonna basically translate to I have no confidence, I have absolutely no confidence that I'll be able to wake up. And of course in our translation here we include the subject of I just because it's implied already, so we're gonna outright state it in our translation, and we also just add this little phrasing of wake up in time just to give it a more natural feel. However, that right there is only half of our line, and we are now going to cover the second sentence, which is then going to express now that it's come to this, I'm gonna pull an all-nighter. So we start off with the phrasing of Kounattara. This is basically 2 words right here. We have the word ko, which is basically gonna translate to this. Then we have nattara, and this is going to be the verb naru, which means to become in its tara form. The tara form has multiple uses. Here you might be thinking that it means if. Not quite, it's more of then. It's basically expressing that if whatever is said before it happens, then what is said after it is also going to happen in turn. So Kounattara is going to translate to basically now that it's become like this. Then we take a look at what comes after nattara, and that is going to be Okitsudukemasu. And this is going to be, again, our first vocabulary word here, but we're actually using a kind of different version definition for it, and this time instead it's going to mean to stay up, to stay awake. We are going to be using that verb okiru in a grammar pattern, the primos form of a verb plus the other verb tsudukeru, which means to continue, as we know from looking at our vocabulary list. It's the last entry. This compound verb is basically going to translate to continue to do that verb. So the verb that we're using is okiru, which means to stay awake, and we put it in this compound verb here, so it's going to translate to continue to stay awake. So now that it's come to this, I'm going to continue to stay awake. Kounattara Okitsudukemasu, and we more naturally turn this in English to I'm gonna pull an all-nighter. Alright, so that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for the whole line right there. All together, Okirareru jishin ga mattaku arimasen. こうなったら起き続けます。
起きられる自信が全くありません。こうなったら起き続けます。
できるだけお付き合いします。
And let's take a look at the grammar patterns that we have here. We have the potential form, the rareru form. We have the ga aru grammar pattern to be existential, to mean I have something, or something exists, or something is here, something's there. We have the tada form with Kounattara. Then we have the compound verb plus tsudukeru to mean to continue doing that verb. And so yeah, now we know how to say this handy dandy line when you're talking to somebody online, probably, that you probably won't be able to wake up in time, so you're just gonna have to rough it out all night, pull an all-nighter. And of course, as always, with what you've learned from this line, the grammar in it, you can change things to express different things. You can say, I don't have the confidence to do something else, or I do have the confidence to do something else, or now that it's come to something else, I'm gonna do this, etc. With 4 different grammar patterns here, that's a lot of options to transmogrify this line into. So if you do need refreshers on those grammar patterns that were in this line, of course, we're going to link them in the description and pin comment below. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pin comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below, check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time!